our Tremolo series.
In this series, we're going to share with you tremolo pedals by some of our favorite manufacturers.
Thanks for joining us. Today we're looking at the Sonar by ZVEX Effects.
And it's our first ZVEX pedal on the channel, which is really cool. We've wanted to look at one for a while. I'm glad we started with a really straightforward, simple, easy to use. Wow.
Garden variety.
Right. That little box right there has some stuff built in under the hood. Mm-hmm. It's super tweakable, super whatever. In fact, I have my phone in my hand because I don't think I can do it tonight.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I don't.
There's a lot. There's other things we're probably not going to get into. We never touch trim pots. There's some trim pots in there, right?
Yeah, there's
some other. So
I think there's one trim pot
deep under the hood.
Right. So here we go. I think we're going to jump right into it. How about we do just like a real quick overview, and then we'll jump into the knobs. And I've been trying to plan this one out. I think we've spent probably an hour just playing with it before starting, which isn't, 100% normal, because a lot of times we come in, we're ready to go. We know what the controls and stuff do, but then we hooked it up and we're like turning knobs and listening, trying to hear if we can hear it. There's a lot going on here. Really cool. Warm sounding tremolo.
Yes.
I'm going to say this right off the bat. If you want a tremolo that has just like sine and square wave and triangle, and you want to be able to find those super easy, sine, square wave, triangle, that's not it.
Right.
But what it is you can get all those and more and really tailor the sine wave. So when I first saw this one, I said we'll get right into it now. I'm going to jump in the weeds. But when I first saw this one, the thing that jumped out at me was how tweakable the waveform is. Like how you can really grab any parameter of that waveform and do whatever you want with it. Mm-hmm. Throw on top of that a really warm sounding tremolo, and then some other things, and it's a pretty cool box. So you have a volume, and that circuit's based on the super hard on, so their boost pedal. If you turn it all the way up, it should be a bump above unity. Mm-hmm. If that's not enough for you, you can get in the internal trim pot and crank that up. But just like the super hard on wood, you're going to really start driving your amp and stuff. So you're going to lose that clean signal that's coming out of it. Right. You have a speed knob, which has a secondary control to it. Yikes. Which is attack. Hold down the tap button, turn it. Now you're turning the attack. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Duty knob, secondary control, which is the release. Delta knob, secondary control, controls the minimum volume of quiet portion of the tremolo. We have a little switch here with 2 arrows on. We'll talk about that in a little bit. 3 subdivisions, basically think quarter, eighth, 16th notes.
For the tap.
And then you have a clean machine, and we'll get to that in a little bit too. And I'll just tell you, the machine part's worth the cost of admission, I think.
So can I ask a question? Because I was listening. So when you got to the duty, you said what the secondary function is. Did you skip that on purpose and I just outed you?
He said duty.
I did say duty.
When I got to
I think you went right to secondary features.
Oh well, there's the duty knob. Duty controls the duration of the peak of the audio.
And maybe you said
the on portion of the tremolo.
Okay.
We'll jump into those more here in a minute. So let's do this. Let's just start. I have no idea. Let's get kind of like a generic, and I have no idea. Let's try and make it as generic as possible. I have no idea if we did. And let's just play it a little bit. Okay. So you want to do your reference time? Yeah,
it's been a little while because we haven't done tremolo for a while. The Revolta Mondata 8 through the Tyler JT22. Just with some reverb. I'll give you that little smack, Rick. So I get my pick in my hand. There's the reverb. All the pickups, because I like to say, because I can.
just think that sounds so good.
Mm-hmm.
The Tyler and the Revolta together. Sorry, you're running through it and I start demoing it.
No, that's okay. I like the way that you can switch to subdivision now, for lack of a better term, and it does it right on the fly.
Right. So I tapped in when we started. We started on the 8th note, switched to the 16th note, it's back to 8th, down to quarter. You get the idea what that does. That's really cool. The speed knob, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. Slowest speed.
Yeah, I think it's really super slow. You did the chopper in a hurry on that one.
I thought you were going to play Peanut back there for a minute. So the duty knob. It's going to happen a lot. The duty knob controls the duration of the peak audio, the on position of the tremolo. So let's get kind of slow and then roll that all the way off and all the way on just to see if you can hear that. So if you think of your waveform, when you go all the way counterclockwise, it's kind of like a peak, right? And then as you turn that knob up, you're opening the top of that waveform up. Mm-hmm. You said it almost kind of reminded you of like the dwell and reverse that you would find on some other tremolos. All right. So we took care of speed, we took care of duty. We don't need to look at delta for right now. Delta is not doing anything yet. So just looking at speed and duty. Secondary knobs.
Yes.
I'm not even apologizing for this.
I wouldn't.
All right. So if you're on the speed knob and you hold down the tap button and turn it, you are turning the attack. Controls how quickly the audio reaches the peak volume of tremolo. If you're on the duty knob, hold down the tap button and turn it, you're changing the release. Controls how quickly the audio ramps down from the peak. So now you can control how fast you get up to top and how fast you come down. So with the duty knob, you're controlling how long you're on. Mm-hmm. And then the two hidden features, attack and release, either ramp up to that and the ramp down from that. So now you can do this and this.
That's all the shaping you were talking about. You can get to sawtooth. You can get to pretty much any shape you would think, I would imagine. So
right now, attack and release are both in the middle, and duty is in the middle. I'm just going to turn knobs.
Okay.
Just let you play, and then I'll turn knobs, and we'll let it kind of let people just hear it instead of trying to go, oh, here's a steep, and here, just hear what it does.
All right.
not even going to try and explain it.
No, but you could hear the diversity in what you can do with this.
Yeah, and as you play with it, you start to get an idea. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, so if I take the duty all the way to the left, I'm going to get a really kind of sharp peak, short, almost more square wavy. If I'm going all the way to the right, I'm getting more maybe a sine wave kind of thing, or it's going to roll off a little bit. Right. And I am going to put the attack and the release back to like kind of the same in the middle, and then put the duty back in the middle. Because we have another thing here, which is the delta.
And it's in yellow. It's different.
Right. So right now you see there's a red light on. If I take this little button and switch it over, this light came on, the yellow light came on. And so to the left is going to slow things down. So wherever we start, Pat's going to hit the chord and it's going to slow down from there. So I'll tap, you hit, and we'll hear it slow. We'll put the delta in the middle for now. Right. So tap, do kind of fast. So the delta knob controls how fast that happens. Mm-hmm. So if I roll it all the way over here, I'll give you the fast tap again and let you play. And it would keep slowing down so
till the light burns out.
And then roll it all the way to the top, fast tap.
We're going to tremolo. I'm wearing my Leslie shirt, and that reminds me of the ramp on Leslie.
Yeah. And we talked about that. Like, so you tap, you hit it, it slows down, but it doesn't speed back up.
No.
So you have to retap to get the speed back up, and then it starts slowing down right away. But I think that, that could be kind of cool. Like, like at the end of a song, right. Like the way we were doing that tapping as you were playing, I think you could find some really kind of interesting uses for that. The exact same thing if we flip the switch all the way over to the right, except now we're going to speed up. So I'll tap slow this time. I don't think we need to go all the way to the left.
No, because this video would be 20 minutes just waiting for it.
But if we go all the way to the right, or most of the way to the right.
Do you want to start fast or slow?
Oh,
it wants to go right away. It's flashing fast.
Right, ready?
Yep.
Right. So I think what happened, we had it in we were tapping in 16th note, so it started pretty fast.
Yeah.
Anyway, that first time. Believe it or not, there's a secondary feature to that knob as well.
Let's go to the phone.
And I'm not going to claim to 100%
Is this the one they said that was part of the video on the actual official?
Yeah, go watch our official video.
There's like a 17-minute video that the creator of the pedal does. Pretty fascinating. He laughs a lot at his creation. It's great.
Yeah, it's cool. Controls the minimum volume of the quiet portion of the tremolo. So if you turn this setting on, it's controlling how fast the silence in the trem cycle is shrinking or growing. All right. In the right arrow position, the silence grows. In the left arrow, it shrinks. So we're what? We're in the right arrow. So the way to get and use this is you actually flip it off and then flip it back on within a second. And I went 2, so I'm not sure if it worked or not. We'll find out in a second. So flip it off, flick it back on, and then I'll just let you play and turn the knob. Let's do the other side and then flick it off and back on. I have trouble.
I was struggling to hear that.
I hear it, but I'm struggling to
Explain it.
explain it. Yeah.
Right.
But that's how you do it.
This is how you do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. So, let's go back. Standard tremolo. We'll take that off. That's everything, right? No.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, wait. I think we just flipped the knob, and so we got everything kind of stock. We're just going to go from kind of the super hard-on boost over to the machine. I really like the fuzzy kind of sputtery sound of that. What's it sound like chord-wise, like if you hit it with some chords? Sorry, I couldn't.
I'm always a sucker for the chop.
Couldn't resist that. So one thing we haven't mentioned, and I think we'd be remiss in not mentioning, even if we don't show it real well, ZVEX really wanted a tremolo that could be used like in front of a high gain amp, like an amp where you're getting a lot of gain from your amp, and would disappear, right? So like one of the problems, you throw a tremolo pedal in front of an amp with a lot of gain in it, you don't really hear it. So they wanted to design this to make sure that even with that gain pushing,
When it dropped.
you would hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't hear that, or you would hear.
You would hear the difference.
You would
by
hear
not
what you don't
hearing.
hear it. Yes.
If a tremolo fell in the woods.
Right. So we're going through the Tyler JT22 clean amp.
Yeah.
Let's try to simulate that a little bit. We'll throw I mean, we need a dry pedal.
David Barber?
David
Barber comes to mind.
We'll throw the Barber electronic direct drive. The actual version for... We'll just throw that.
Okay.
And crank that up a little bit. Chord stuff to see if it still cuts through. And I might end up moving some of those knobs around a little bit. And then before he's done, I'll probably click it over to the machine to see how the machine affects it. So we'll start clean setting, no overdrive. You start playing, I'll click the...
Pure wankery.
Always.
Yeah. Trying to respond to the pedal. I don't think we were on the same page a few times, but
and I don't think that that's kind of a fair, like, going to the direct drive into the small amp. I don't think it...
Right.
No, it's not that it's not fair. It's just not what he was doing. He was really trying to work with the amp and the amp drive. But I think you could still hear it with that.
Well, and to be honest, we had the direct drive in front first, which might be a little better representation, but when we turned on the machine, it was unruly. So we put the direct drive on the other side, more or less to play more with the machine part than the tremolo. Right, because a lot of times your drives are before the tremolo, which we put it after just because when we married it with the machine, it got squirrely. Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up because we would always put... I think both of us would always put a tremolo near the end of a signal chain. Right. The question is, do you put it before a reverb, after a reverb? Right. Before a delay, after a delay? Because you can do some interesting things with that. But normally, tremolo, we wouldn't put before our drive pedal, which we did today. But today we were saying, okay, what if it sounds like it's hitting something with a lot of drive, not driving the tremolo? So just playing around, which is what we're allowed to do that. Right. So it makes it fun. And intimidating sometimes. Anything else to add? That's a lot. It's a lot. My head's spinning. It's like... Same. Yeah. I think we're due. We need to say duty again to get the little sorbet going. Oh, I said duty. Okay, great. Now we're back.
Well, with that,
brought equilibrium back.
Yes, we always, and I think now would be a good time to just say thanks to everybody that's watching, hitting the subscribe button. As part of the Tremolo series, there's been a ton of pedals. If you're looking at the Tremolos, tons of pedals in the Tremolo series. More to come. Thanks everybody that's subscribing, hitting the like button, clicking, leaving comments down below. Anytime you interact with the show, it really helps us out. Stop by the website. Lots of our series. Like if you look at the Tremolo series, all those episodes are there in one place. So you can kind of scroll through and see what we've done. There's a page with pedals that don't stick around.
Right.
That are moving out to make more room to bring in more on there too. So with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. Let me ask an intentional leading question. What would the opening chord passage sound like on the machine?
Oh, I'm sure it would sound fantastic.
What do you think? Maybe we cook something up? Surprise!